I don't know. I don't think she is.
Okay, we're live now, Jimmy.
All right, all right.
Let me turn on the recording.
She'll definitely be in class tomorrow morning, I believe. She wasn't gonna be, but I think her shit.
All right, we're live now. Are you able, Jimmy, to check to see if the stream is
I will.
All right, thanks. Shalawama, I'm Dr. Yasapa from Zion Law School. I don't see a stream.
It looked like it just popped up to me, and I'm gonna let you know right now if we are. And we are live, brother. Yes, we are.
We are. All right. Okay, thanks, Jimmy. Shalawama, I'm Dr. Yazapa from Zion Law School. Give me 1 second, scholars. I'll be right there. So, yeah, it's not showing in mine. Give me 1 second, Jimmy. Let me try to find it.
I'm actually viewing it from my phone right now, so we are definitely on.
All right. So give me 1 second. Let me try to find it. Oh, man, I don't know why this keeps happening like this. It's not showing in mine. Give me 1 second, Jimmy. Let me try to find it.
I'm actually viewing it from my phone right now, so
All right.
That was actually on my computer. Now I pulled it up.
Oh, that was on your computer.
So we as we speak right now, we are live.
All right. Thanks, Jimmy. I got to make some corrections. This is not what I set up. So well, I'll do it later. I'm kind of, all right. I'll do it later. Okay, so let's go ahead let's give it, no, there's nobody, is there anyone? Let's give it a few minutes, see if some people will come in.
Actually, okay, yeah.
This is not the live stream link that I set up. It's a different one that I set up, so.
But it did notify me, so as long as
It did notify you?
It did notify me, so as long as they did subscribe, they will get that notification that we are on live.
Okay. Oh man, let's give it a minute. Let's see if some people will come in. Let's give it a few minutes.
No problem. I'm going to go ahead and get that link shared in the meantime.
Let me pull this up. So today is Friday.
Yeah, today is Friday.
Today is Friday. You know what? Let's go ahead and get started because we have class in the morning. I don't want to be up all night.
10-4.
All right. Okay, so here we are. I'm Dr. Yasapa from Zion Law School. Welcome to this live stream. Jimmy, you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Jim Alexandre, and again, a scholar here at Zion Law School, and we say welcome to the live stream.
All right, good. Thank you, Jimmy. So I want to inform everybody that you can learn our original language, which is called Ibaryath. You can learn it online in a streaming course. This is the 101 Ancient Ibaryath course. You can get this course on zionlawschool.org, Zion zionlawschool.org. Click on the course offerings. You'll see this advertisement right here. So click on that and this screen will come up. Okay, so this is a self-study course. You can get it for $1 for a one-day trial. There's no doctrine in here. There's no contract. You can cancel anytime, but I'm sure you're going to keep this for years and years and years. I'm absolutely sure of that. And you only need to pay $10 for a monthly subscription. So that's basically free. You're going to learn all there is to know about the Ibaryath pictographs, the culture as it relates to the language. And everybody should know, you should know that the culture is embedded in the language, okay? You'll learn grammar, parts of speech, Ibaryath word studies, and you can build a big vocabulary, 225 vocabulary words. So when you come here, scroll down. And by the way, for the $1 for one-day trial, you can take as many of the 113 lessons as you want over that 24-hour period. Okay, so make sure you read everything here, all right? So scroll down and you'll see the button here. You see the trial offer, $1. So just click right here to subscribe, all right? Click right there to subscribe, all right. And if you subscribe using PayPal, make sure your PayPal is set up for recurring payments, okay? So you don't have to keep going back and forth to, or so that you don't have a problem with it. So now the course is broken up into 3 parts. The first part, you'll get introduction. So go ahead and take a look. Go to the website, scroll through everything. Part 2 is the pictographs. Okay, zionlawschool.org. So you see all the pictographs. You will see also some Ibaryath word studies that are the Ibaryath word studies are amazing. So make sure you study those. And then you're going to see part 3, which is the grammar. So you can see not everything that's in the course, but you see a lot of what's in the course. So you're going to learn about the Ibaryath root word system. You're going to learn parts of speech and so much more. All right. So the value of this course, I can easily ask anywhere from $8,000 to $10,000 for this course, literally. But we're only asking $10 because we want people from all over the world to be able to afford to take this course. So for example, someone, let's say in the Philippines, 1 peso in the Philippines, or $1 rather in the Philippines is worth, let me rephrase that. $1, 1 US dollar is worth 50 or 51 Filipino pesos. So that's a big difference in the value of money, as you all can see. In Mexico, 1 Mexican peso is worth about 20. I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. 1 US dollar is worth 20 Mexican pesos. So you see there's a big difference in the money. So for someone in another country, let's say like Mexico or the Philippines, this $10 is a lot, right? So I'm making it as close to free as possible, but the bills have to be paid, right? The bills have to be paid, so it cannot be free, okay? Because otherwise, how can I keep it going? So everybody needs to subscribe so we can keep this going and push it to the House of Yasharallah all over the world, okay? So subscribe. All right, let's get into our document. Oh, Jimmy, can you say something about your experience with the course?
Absolutely. And again, this is a must-have course. It is the foundation, the building block of everything that you have the opportunity to learn at Zion Law School. It is a building block. This course will basically give you the foundation and understanding that you actually need. In fact, anyone coming into Zion Law School, this particular pre-recorded courses are highly recommended. And even with this course alone, the information that you are going to get there, it is simply priceless. Now, I'm not saying that just to say it or because it sounds good, and I am speaking specifically from experience. Those of you who's actually has been with us for the previous 5 sessions that we did going through this document, you've heard us talk about this. Those of you who's actually tried it, you will see exactly what we were talking about, and we've presented to you a lot of the information you will actually be able to obtain from this. And as you sit here with us and we go through this document that we are going to go through, certain things may seem a little bit awkward for you. Well, this course, this Hebrew pre-recorded Ibaryath course will give you that foundation and help you understand. And like we have established, it is the goal of having scholars to be able to understand documents. And I'll tell you what, even with this course alone, you will not read anything the same again. Like
Jimmy, what's your personal experience with the course? Have you experienced that in your own life?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. The course has literally changed the way I look at everything that I've actually looked at. Even in my own personal life, for example, currently I am in the process of studying for the NCLEX, and I'm getting a higher level of understanding of the material as I read it, as I go through it, because now I'm finding myself using the same skills that I've learned at Zion Law School, to properly look up certain words, to have a defined understanding what it is, which I think is going to be key and help me to this next level that I'm looking to obtain. So personally, this course itself, well, the whole experience with Zion Law School has changed my life, but this course itself did wonders for me. It put things into perspective for me. It helps me to literally understand, especially, information such as paradigm, the different paradigm with different times, with different cultures, like Dr. Isapa mentioned earlier. Culture is embedded in a language. So unless you truly understand a culture of a language, there are certain things about that culture, about that language, about that, those particular people that you may never be able to understand. So this course give you the groundwork of our ancestors. It gives you the foundation to give you a clearer understanding. So now when you attempt to look at the documents of our document, the documents our ancestors had passed on, then you have a better understanding what is being said. You will not take something from one culture and try to understand it in a different culture, and will not justify and truly give you the pure essence of what you need to get out of it.
Okay, thanks, Jimmy. So now let's take a look at Jeremiah 8, chapter 8 in the Bible Hub. And here, scholars in the audience, you're going to find Jeremiah chapter 8 translated by many, many different Bible versions. Okay, so let's take a look at the Amplified Bible, and we'll consider how it reads here. It says, "How can you say we are wise, and the law of the Most High is with us, and we are learned in its language?" What's its language? Ibaryath, "and teachings." Okay, so now Jeremiah is saying that we need to what? We need to be learned in Ibaryath and the Most High's teachings. Those teachings are his instructions or commandments, right? We call it the contract. "Behold, the truth is that the lying pen of the scribes, the lying pen of your ancestors, my ancestors, have made the law into a lie, a mere code of ceremonial observances, which is, by definition, religion. So your ancestors, the dark priesthood, the black priesthood, my ancestors, wrote lies into the quote unquote Bible and created a religion when before there was not a religion." Okay, there was only the Most High's instructions, right? And those instructions at their essence are natural law. Now, let's go back to this 101 Ancient Ibaryath course. The way to uncover these lies and eliminate them is simply to learn the language. Okay, simply to learn the language. And you can take this course. This is a streaming course, streaming online course. You can take it at home, at work, at the gym, while you're walking. You can go over this material. It's right there for you. Now, go to a Hebrew university. Go to a synagogue and tell them you want to learn Hebrew. And by the way, Hebrew, biblical Hebrew, modern Hebrew, that's not what our ancestors spoke and wrote. Our ancestors wouldn't know what biblical Hebrew is if they saw it or heard it. They wouldn't know what modern Hebrew is if they saw it or heard it. It's a completely foreign language to our ancestors. But go there and ask them how much is the tuition for 1 year, and see how many thousands of dollars you're going to have to pay. Okay? And here you can get your own language, Ibaryath, for only $10 per month. Okay? All right. So this should be a very easy decision for everyone to make. All right, let's get into our lesson.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we are on this looks like page 20. Yeah, page 20. We're on page 20, Jimmy, and no, we're not on page 20. We are, I don't want to do that's, we stopped on page 21. Yeah, we stopped on page 21. I suppose we should read this page 21 again. Let me see. No.
If you go down on page 21, let me see the middle of the page. I can confirm if that's where we left off.
Yeah, yeah, I know that's where we left off. We left on the next paragraph. Oops.
Yeah, right there. You did read that that
yeah.
part.
Yeah, we left here. 23, you're right. 23. Okay, so scholars in the audience, make sure you go back and watch yesterday's video. I think it was number 5, right, Jimmy?
Yes, number 5.
Yeah, go back and watch video number 5 to get the background. Okay, if this is your first time here. If it's not, we're picking up where we left off yesterday. So Jimmy, let's start here. Just you want to read this paragraph, Jimmy?
All right. Okay. There we are. In Bethlehem, and in all the divisions of it, in which you will see that there are 2 children, Greek, of 2 years old, Gemini, the twins of May, which this solar Herod is said to kill. In our English rendering, but in the literal Greek, to take or put away or pass through, as the sun passes through the sign of the twins, Greek, and that there were but 2 of them, is discovered by the reference made to the astronomical Shem of the prophet, that is to say, of the old astronomer Jeremy.
All right. Any questions about that?
No question.
Okay, yeah. So Herod, the solar Herod, would be the sun passing through May, which is Gemini, the 2 twins. That's what's happening here. Okay, that's what's happening here. All right. Okay, so in the next paragraph, in Ramah, was there a voice heard, lamentation and weeping, and great mourning, Rachel weeping for her children? Why Ramah? What is Ramah? Why Ramah is the Hindustani, Coptic, Syriac, Phoenician word, and literal name for the zodiac. So Ramah means zodiac. the high and elevated, the exalted, the high, elevated, exalted zodiac. So Rama means zodiac. So Herod, or the sun passing through the two twins or Gemini of May, this is the zodiac, right? Rachel weeping for her children. The children would be the two twins, the Geminis, according to the author. Not according to me, but according to the author. And this tale of the birth of Christ in the days of Herod the king is found in the Bhagavad Purana of India. The Bhagavata, let me rephrase that. The Bhagavat Purana of India, in the Mithraics of Persia, and in the fabulous writings ascribed to Zoroaster, the supposed contemporary of Moses. So the same story was found in India, in Persia. Persia is now Iran, right? Okay. So the Bhagavad Purana of India, in the Mithraics of Persia, and in the fabulous writings to Zoroaster, the supposed contemporary of Moses. So it was found, the same story found in 3 other ancient books, okay? As turned to the old astronomy ascribed to Moses, you will find that Rachel had but 2 sons, which were Joseph and Benjamin. And there they are to this day in Ramah, the 2 boys of the Zodiac, as Joseph and Benjamin together.
Pull up the document, Dr. Isaba. We can't.
Oh, okay. Oh man, they didn't see any of that, huh?
Yeah, we just got to the part where Rachel had 2 sons.
Let me start from the top. I'll start from here. Let me highlight it. So I'm going to start from the beginning of the paragraph, y'all. In Ramah was there a voice heard, lamentation and weeping and great mourning, Rachel weeping for her children. Why in Ramah? What is Ramah? Why, Ramah is the Hindustani, Coptic, that would be Coptic Egyptian, right? Syriac, Phoenician word. Okay, so Ramah is a word, Hindustani, Coptic, Syriac, Phoenician word, and literal name for the zodiac, the high, the elevated, the exalted. And this whole tale of the birth of Christ in the days of Herod the king is found in the Bhagavad Purana of India, in the Mithraics of Persia, and in the fabulous writings ascribed to Zoroaster, the supposed contemporary of Moses. As turned to the old astronomy ascribed to Moses, you will find that Rachel had but 2 sons, which were Joseph and Benjamin. And there they are to this day in Ramah, the 2 boys of the zodiac, as Joseph and Benjamin together are accounted as making up but one of the 12 signs. Let me repeat that. As Joseph and Benjamin, okay, now in astrology, these are twins, right?
Gemini twins, right?
Right, but I don't think Joseph and Benjamin are twins in the story. Okay, so there's a difference here.
Yes, there is.
Right, so Joseph and Benjamin together are accounted as making up but one of the 12 signs. So 2 boys making up one of the signs, and they're not twins. And this King Herod is no other than such a sort of personage as our English John Bull. He never grows old. He never goes dead. But he is the bloody King Herod, the naughty man that comes to take away the naughty children. I think that's clear, right? So I don't know who this John Bull is. I looked him up. I didn't know, but he's someone who doesn't get old. And that would make sense because they're saying that the story about Herod trying to, kill some children appeared many years before it appeared in the Gospels. So this English person, John Bull, it appears that he was a person who also never got old. Okay, he never died. All right.
All right.
Okay, let's have the next paragraph, Jimmy.
All right. As we find the grave historian, it looks like Eusebius, assuring us that the martyrdom of Polycarp in the region of Marcus.
In the reign.
Okay, at Smyrna. Oh man.
In the reign of Marcus Aurelius.
Okay, in the reign of Marcus Aurelius at
Smyrna.
This is 200 years after the pretended date of this affair. So basically, it says it 200 years after the story was presented. That was the asterisk we read. Okay, took place by order of this same bloody king Herod, notwithstanding the worms eating him up as they do every year when he enters into the sign of the scorpion of October and gives not capital G-O-D the glory, but not alone the name of King Herod, but the name of the children whom it is so ridiculously supposed that King Herod slew. And its original significancy in historical derivation demonstrates the astronomical relations of the whole mystery. Greek. Herod the king, that is Hercules, the hero of the skin, put away all the boys. Now the Greek word right there betrays to us the Coptic article 2 in composition with the Phoenician aids. The whole word Paiades, being the common title of the sun, formed of the radicals. Is that a P1? ADES, the capital LORD, fire, hence the Latin word for a boy. Per is the Greek word for fire. The root of the English word pure and purity, and the key of the evangelical conundrum. Definitely want to look that one up. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see the capital G-O-D. That is, the stars that shine the brightest are nearest to the sun. And those boys in Ramah, which Herod passed over, are demonstrated to have been none other than the fiery boys of the Zodiac.
The fiery boys of the Zodiac.
The two bright clusters of stars representing the figure of two boys, which the sun enters in the month of May, and for which Rachel weep and will not be comforted, not because they are killed, but because they are not. That is, because they are rendered invisible, no longer to be seen or observed. Okay, I gotta bring it down some, or bring it up some rather. Observed, absurd, in the superior effulgence of the sun and passing through them as he does in the month of May.
Okay.
He does in the month of May when, quote, loss, dissolved in the superior rays, one tide of glory, one unclouded blaze, or flows his courts.
All right. So this is talking about the what, Jimmy, did you have anything you want to say about it?
No, there's a couple of words we probably want to look up, but no, I definitely like a breakdown on it so I can have a better understanding.
All right. So this is talking about the sun's course through the sky. And again, the King Herod is representing the sun. So the reference to worms eating him up have to do with what we discussed a couple classes ago. Everybody should remember that. If you don't, I think that was the number four. That was number 4, where we discussed the worms and its relationship to Zodiac. Okay, so that's what that's referencing. And let's take a look. Let me go back up. So again, remember, this is just describing the sun's position as it passes through the sky. Okay.
Actually, it was number 3, Dr. Isapa, when we discussed the sun. It was number 3. I mean, the worm, rather. It was number 3.
Number 3. Okay, thank you, Jimmy. As they do every year, when he enters, he would be the sun, enters into the sign of the scorpion of October and gives not the capital G-O-D, the glory, but not alone the name of King Herod, but the name of the children whom it so ridiculously supposed that King Herod slew. In its original significance and historical derivation, demonstrates the astronomical relations of the whole mystery. And then you see the Greek sentence here, okay, where the cursor is. Everybody see that? Where's my cursor? Yeah. So everybody see the cursor? All right. So now let's continue. Herod the king, that is Hercules. So Herod and Hercules are the same, the sun. That is Hercules, the hero of the skin. Okay. Put away all the boys. Remember, the boys had to do with the Zodiac. We just read in the last paragraph, scholars. Now, the Greek word, which we see the Greek word right here, betrays to us the Coptic article, which we see right here. We see the Coptic article there in composition with the Phoenician aids, okay, A-D-E-S, the highlight. The whole word, P-I-hyphen-A-D-S, pi-aids, okay? Being the common title of the sun, formed from the radicals. See, Jimmy, we went over radicals, right? We deal with these all the time. You guys will deal with radicals. You'll understand what they are when you go into this course, okay? The 101 Ancient Ibaryath course. So you actually, let me go back to that. you can see the importance of knowing the information in the 101 Ancient Ibaryath course, because notice, scholars, how they're breaking this word down. Okay. Now, when you get that course, you'll learn what this is. You'll understand what they're talking about. I mean, of course, you're not going to understand the Greek, but you'll understand the principle and concepts behind it, right? So compound words, radicals or roots. Okay, so now let's go take a look at our first word. All right, so radical. Radical. Let's see. Okay, so let's look at this one. Let me scroll down. So here we are. The noun radical comes from the Latin radix, or root. And in fact, radical and root are synonymous as technical terms in fields such as math and linguistics. So these radicals are the most primitive words or roots. Okay, they are primitive roots, and then you can make words off of these roots. Okay, so you can learn all about that when you register for the when you subscribe to the 101 Ancient Ibaryath course. So you see, this is very, very important information. All right, so now let's return to the document. So you see how using this information about roots or radicals is how this author and anybody else can come to understand what literature means. Okay, how? By breaking the word down. Okay, formed of the radicals or formed of the roots, Pi, which looks like pi, Ad, and Es. So there's three radicals. See, it's one radical, the second radical, and the third radical.
Yes. Okay.
All right. The capital Lord, fire. Hence, the Latin word for a boy, pure, is the Greek word, which we see here, for fire. Okay, so the Latin word for boy, pure, in Greek means fire. That should be clear, right?
Yeah.
The root of the English word pure, see, pure, right? The root of the English word pure and purity. See, these words are related, right? And the key of the evangelical conundrum. So let's look up conundrum so everybody's clear on conundrum.
So,
did you have anything, Jimmy?
No, just getting the precise meaning of these words.
Conundrum. Conundrum, an intricate and difficult problem. All right, so it's a difficult problem.
It is a difficult problem.
Houston, we have a problem.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so the root of the English words pure and purity, and the key of the evangelical conundrum. That's a complex problem, right?
Yep.
Quote, blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see capital God. So he's saying that this is a complex problem for the religious community, right?
Right.
Blessed be the pure, because what does pure mean? Fire, boys, in heart, for they shall see capital God. That is, the stars that shine the brightest are nearest to the sun. Do y'all see what he just did? What the author just did?
Yeah, with you.
See, the capital God is also supposed to be what? The Christ figure. The Christ figure is also capital God, right? According to Trinity, some people see see the Christ figure as being the Son and the Father. So the Christ figure is the Father, is the Son, right? So the Father, the Son, S-O-N and the S-U-N are the same, okay? Pure is the boys and the fire. Is that clear, Jimmy?
Yes, it is.
It's clear?
Yep, I understand it.
All right. The stars that shine the brightest are nearest to the sun, right? Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see, capital G-O-D. All right. So blessed are the stars that are closest to the sun. Why? Because they shine the brightest. Okay. And these boys in Rama, which Herod passed over, are demonstrated to have been none other than the fiery boys of the Zodiac, the two bright clusters of stars representing the figure of two boys, which the sun enters in the month of May. So here, this is only tracking the sun as it passes through the sky, right? And remember, in every zodiac, the sun will take on the attributes and characteristics of that zodiac that it's in. When it goes into the next zodiac sign, it's going to take on that zodiac sign's attributes and characteristics. All right. So let's continue. We'll start here. The two bright clusters of stars representing the figure of two boys, which the sun enters in the month of May, and for which Rachel weeps and will not be comforted, not because they are killed, but because they are not. That is because they are rendered invisible, right? So you can't see them, so therefore it's liking them to be killed, okay? No longer to be seen, are absorbed in the superior effulgence of the sun and passing through them as he does in the month of May, when, and then we see the poetry, right? So is that clear?
Yeah, again, this is the sun going through that next zodiac sign, which is Gemini for the month of May.
Yes, and then the sun, and then the boys can't be seen anymore, right? In other words, the light of the sun makes it so you can't see them.
Understood.
Okay, so Rachel weeping for her sons, according to the author, is saying, because remember the two boys are Rachel's sons, right? It said Joseph and Benjamin, that according to the author, right?
Right.
So Gemini, according to the author, Gemini is twins, zodiac twin, or zodiac twins. The author is saying that one of the twins is Joseph, the other is Benjamin. Rachel is weeping for her sons, not because they're dead, but because you can't see them any longer. This is the astrotheological explanation of this verse, according to this author. Okay, so I'll read it again. The two bright clusters of stars representing the figure of two boys. All right, so these two bright clusters of stars, that's Gemini, right? The two bright clusters of stars representing the figure of the two boys, that's Gemini, which the sun enters in the month of May. So the sun enters into Gemini in May. Okay, so now we see the sun is in Gemini and the month is May. And for which Rachel weeps. So Rachel begins weeping in May. And we will be comforted, and will not be comforted. So Rachel is weeping and she gets no comfort in the month of May, not because her boys are killed, but because they are not. What do you mean they are not? That is, or they are not because they are rendered invisible. They're not killed, you just can't see them.
Invisible.
Right? They're rendered invisible, no longer to be seen. are absorbed in the superior effulgence of the sun and passing through them. Okay, so this, in other words, the sun is more bright than the two twin stars. So let's look up the word here. Okay, effulgence. Jimmy, you want to present it?
Sure. Effulgence.
Okay, go ahead, Jimmy.
Effulgence. A brilliant radiance. A brilliant radiance. Number 2, a shining forth as of light, great luster of brightness, slender as okay, that's just a sentence using a sentence. Number 3, synonyms: brilliance, luster, etc.
Okay, so now let's go back.
It's a brightness.
Right. Okay, so it's saying here, that is because they are, that's the two stars, Gemini, the boys, Joseph, Benjamin, are rendered invisible, no longer to be seen, are absorbed in the superior effulgence of the sun. So the sun is so bright that the sun is outshining Gemini. That's all it's saying. So when the sun goes into Gemini, the sun is so much brighter than the Gemini stars. You can no longer see the stars, you only see the sun. That's all it's saying. Right? So that's why Rachel is crying, because she can't see her boys anymore. Not that they're dead. According to the author, that is the astrotheological explanation of the verse. Is it clear?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Before we move on?
Rendered they were rendered invisible. So Rachel cries for them, but again, it's not because
it's up to you to decide whether you want to accept or reject the author's presentation here. You have to use your own mind, your own critical thinking skills, and come up with your own conclusion, or come to no conclusion at all. Maybe you say you need more information. Okay, so I'm not here to tell anyone what to think or believe. My role is to present information so that you can make an intelligent and informed decision. Okay, and to also teach you some critical thinking skills and help you to improve your reading comprehension and to explain what the author is saying. Okay, but I'm not here trying to push any type of belief system on anybody. So you have to make your own decisions. So feel free to make comments or ask questions in the chat, and we make it do. We keep making it do what it do.
That's right. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video.
And thanks, Jimmy. Okay, so let's continue. Thus, in the name of capital God, Hercules, reduced to its radicals, we have 3 Ammonian primitives, which are, okay, so let's see. These are modern Hebrew characters, y'all. That's 1, 2, 3. These are the 3 Ammonian primitives, right? Jimmy, you know what a primitive, right? Primitive roots, right?
Yes.
Okay, their meanings are light, awe, and fire, which in the composition, so you'll learn this stuff in the, you'll learn about these primitives in the 101 Ancient Ibaryath course, and also in our Saturday course, Saturday 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can come, you can observe 2 classes for free. You don't have to buy anything, just register, show up, make sure you read the instructions before you come to class, okay? Because there's some things that you have to do. before you come to class, or at least at the latest on the first day of class, okay? So make sure you read it, but you'll learn this stuff in our 506, the Cursus course, which is a live online course every Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You'll be able to deal with the information we're looking at right now, these roots, radicals, primitives, all of this stuff you'll learn, okay? And you'll become very comfortable with it. Now it might seem intimidating, okay? But as you work with it at Zion Law School, you'll become comfortable dealing with these topics. All right, so let's continue. So those three Ammonian primitives mean light, all, fire, okay? And we're dealing with capital G-O-D and Hercules right now, right? Thus, in that name of G-O-D, Hercules, reduced, so in other words, reduced, Hercules reduced to its radicals. Hercules reduced to its radicals, we have three ammonium primitives. So break Hercules down to its radicals, you'll find that there are three radicals. And here they are. That's what the author is saying, okay? So these radicals that make up the name Hercules mean light, awe, and fire. Is that clear, Jimmy?
Yes, yes. It's referring to these radicals. To its radicals.
Yeah, these are the radicals that make up that are in the word the word Hercules. All right, and they mean light, awe, and fire. All right, which is in the composition the light, the universal fire, and I need to look this word up. I don't know this word. Give me 1 second, y'all. Let me look this up real quick.
Dramatically.
You good so far, Jimmy?
I'm good. I'm good.
How to pronounce this?
Palindrome.
Palindrome. Palindrome, a word, verse, or sentence or number that reads the same backward or forward. Wow. Okay. All right. So a word that reads the same backward or forward. Okay. For which is the so these primitives, the light, awe, fire, which in its composition, the light, the universal fire, or palindromically, the fire, the universal source of light, that is the sun. Okay, so they're saying Hercules, they're showing the proof that Hercules is a sun based upon its primitive roots. That's what they're saying. That's what they just did a proof. Okay. So this is science, what he's doing. This is linguistics, all right? This is linguistic science, all right? So he's proving that Hercules is in fact the sun, okay, by examining the roots. All right, let's continue. As there in the Zodiac and the Lion of July is the Cleonian lion, whom the light, the universal fire, that is the sun, and we see this Greek, these two Greek words here, the King Herod, okay? The King Herod, so Herod and Hercules are the sun. That's what he's saying. As there in the Zodiac, in the Lion of July, so the Lion of July, okay, is that Cleonian lion. So the Lion of July is also the Cleonian lion, whom the light, the universal fire, that is the sun, and we see this Greek word, the King Herod, the hero of the skin. All right, I think that's clear. Okay, so the hero of the skin, every year overcomes and passes through his annual progress. See, that's the track, that's the travel or the path that the sun takes through the sky. It just repeats it, right? The sun passes through every zodiac over and over and over again, year after year. That's what he's saying. Every year overcomes and passes through in his annual progress, with whose skin he seems to invest himself as a trophy, right? So we're talking about here, look at the cursor, scholars.
Mm-hmm.
Hercules, the hero of the skin. Oops. That's what, see over here?
Hercules, the hero of the skin.
The hero of the skin, right? So we also see it down here. It's in the same sentence. I didn't want to go back down. Okay, so here we see it. The King Herod. So Herod, Hercules, the King Herod. Okay, the hero of the skin. So we just saw who, these are all the same people, remember? Here's Herod, right? So let's continue. The sun, rather, not people, they're the sun.
S-U-N.
Right, the S-U-N. All right, so every year overcomes and passes through in its annual progress. The sun's annual progress, right? With whose skin he seems to invest himself as a trophy of his victory. So there it is, Hercules, the hero of the skin. Okay, so that skin is a trophy, right? And is in which investiture he is addressed in those words of the psalmist, or ancient magical incantations, appointed to be read through every month in honor of the 12 months of the year. O capital L-O-D, my capital G-O-D, thou art become exceedingly glorious. Thou art clothed with majesty and honor, clothed. Thou art clothed with majesty and honor. Thou deckest thyself with light. Thou deckest thyself with light as with the garment. Okay, as with what? Skin? Is that what he's talking about?
Mm-hmm.
The hero of the skin? Okay. And spreadeth out the heavens like a curtain. Oh, sing unto capital G-O-D and sing praises unto his name. Magnify him that rideth upon the heavens as upon a horse. Even capital G-O-D in his holy habitation. All right. Okay, so now let's continue. This, of course, was a psalm, right? That was one of the verses in the Psalms.
Okay.
Thus, too, the epithet added to the name of Herod, that is, hero of the skin. Okay, so now we see Hercules, also hero of the skin, right? Okay, so Herod and Hercules are both the hero of the skin. Everybody see it?
Yep, see it there.
All right. Thus too the epithet, so let's look up epithet. Oops. Is this difficult, Jimmy? Is it twisty?
It is try to get our head wrapped around it. But if you were following, then you still want to continue following the author because he's going to make the point.
Okay, the meaning of epithet is a characterizing word or phrase accompanying or occurring in place of a person or a thing. Okay, so epithets can be not nice things, right?
Uh-huh. Could be
okay, a word or a phrase applied to a person to describe a quality. Okay, so a curse or an insult. Y'all see it? Designation, curse, or insult. All right. Okay, so let's go back to the document. Tell me if this is getting too confusing, Jimmy.
Yeah, I know it's gonna sum it up. I know it's gonna bring it together.
All right. Thus, too, the epithet added to the name Herod, that is the hero of the skin. Herod the king. In Hebrew, we see the modern Hebrew pictographs here. So what is it? Moloch. Moloch. So the epithet would be what? A nickname or designation in this case. Hero of the skin, right? Okay, or Moloch. In Greek, notice this, y'all. Wait. So everybody knows who Moloch is, right?
A little brief you wanted, Dr. Isaac, on Moloch.
Okay, so let's continue first. So Moloch in Greek, we see the Greek word here, okay? In Latin, looks like Rex.
The ruler.
Okay, in Latin, the ruler, the regulator, was a characteristic epithet of the sun. The sun to rule the day, the monarch, or only governor of the whole solar system. So he's giving proofs, right? The sun is also called a ruler, right? The sun rules today. Herod is a ruler. Herod is the sun. Y'all see?
Huh?
Understood?
Understood. Herod is a ruler then. Now,
Right.
I've heard it. I've heard the word.
Okay. I don't know if I spelled that right. Let me take a look. Okay, Moloch, biblical Hebrew, ancient Greek, is the name or term which appears in the Hebrew Bible several times, primarily in Leviticus. There's Moloch. All right.
She's considered a deity.
Yeah. They sacrificed their children to Moloch. Here's Moloch. Remember that Bible verse?
Yes, I remember.
Right. Now, remember what we're talking about here is the killing of the children, right? Herod killed the children.
Yes.
So Moloch, reference to Moloch. All right. Huh?
No, you noted that Moloch, there is a verse that specifically talk about sacrificing their children to Moloch, and as we read here in this document, the author presented with the killing of the children, then make a reference to Moloch.
Yeah. Yeah. And according to astrotheology, that has reference to Gemini being becoming invisible because the sun, the brightness of the sun made those stars invisible. Right?
Right.
Okay, do you want to do the next one?
Go ahead and read this next paragraph. Here we are. And why should Christ be said to be born in Bethlehem of Judea and be called by the wise man? And it is a Greek, the king, the rex, the governor or ruler of the days of Joel. But in fulfillment of that prophecy of the prophet, that is in accordance with that astronomical sketch of the astronomical priests. Look at Micah. And though Bethlehem and the land of Judah art not the least among the princes of Judah, for out of thee shall come a governor that shall rule my people Israel. Now, would any but a Christian idiot who had bid good night forever to all use of reason, or a Christian knave who would say anything, insult us by saying that there ever was a Bethlehem upon earth, that ever brought forth a governor or ruler upon earth, that ever governed or ruled in Israel upon earth. And are we to endure the intolerable insult and ignominy and longer that a set of sacrificed idiots and solemn dunce, a proud and astrological priesthood, too haughty as they are, to be willing, and too ignorant as they are, to be able to confront us, shall be allowed to persuade the world that all these glorious prophecies of the wonderful counselor, the mighty capital God, the everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace, of the increase of whose government and dominion there should be no end upon the throne of David, his father, to order and to establish it with government and with justice forever. Had their verification in the pretend real history of such a king of the Jews, who, if his history were historical, presents us with nothing more than the history of a thief born in a stable, living on the high road, and dying on the gallows. A king of the Jews that never had his title recognized, but in a sarcasm, never triumphed, but on the cross, never reigned, but as if all our kings should be like to reign in the same fashion. We should not long want radical reform.
All right. Do you want to summarize? Let's go back and summarize. Oh, I went too far. Any questions in the chat, Jimmy, or comments?
No, not yet. No questions or comment yet. No salutations.
Okay. I went too far. Give me 1 second. All right. Hold on. So if you have any questions or comments, go ahead, put them in the chat, please, and welcome everyone. Welcome. Let's see. Okay, here we are. So let's take a look if there's anything or did you want to summarize anything, Jimmy, or make any comments?
Let's go over it briefly here. So, and why should Christ be said to be born in Bethlehem of Judea and be called by the wise men? Is that Greek word, the king, the Rax, the governor or ruler of the days of Joel. But in fulfillment, now, can you tell us anything about the day of Joel? Is there anything particular it's referring to there?
Hold on, let me see. Well, let's focus on first what the, let's keep on topic first. Okay. So the ruler of the day would be what? The sun. We just read that in the second paragraph. Yes. In the paragraph above, right? Yes. The Rex, the ruler, right?
Speaking about the
sun rules the day. Okay, that's what the author is trying to establish. And why should Christ be said to be born in Bethlehem of Judea and be called by the wise men, and this these Greek words here,
Hmm.
right? The king, the rex. So you see rex here, and you see the Latin rex here. Okay, the ruler. Okay, so the governor or ruler of the days of, that looks like JAO, right? So again, the Christ figure is the SUN. That's what the author is bringing out,
Oh, okay.
right? Okay, so why should the Christ figure be born in Bethlehem of Judea? So why, right? Why should he be called the king or the governor or ruler of the days of JAO? He gives the answer. But in fulfillment of that prophecy of the prophet, that is, in accordance with the astronomical sketch of the astronomical priest of Micah. So now the author is saying that Micah is an astronomical priest. And this statement is made to fulfill this prophecy that Micah made. Okay?
It's okay.
Clear? All right. And let's read it. And thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, art not the least among the princes of Judah. For out of thee, out of Bethlehem, shall come a governor that will rule my people Israel. Now remember, we read in the first or second video that we did that according to the author, Israel is the cosmos, the zodiac.
He did mention that in one of our previous videos.
Yeah, Israel is the 12 zodiacs, okay, according to astrotheology. Okay, is Isis, Ra, and then El, okay? All right. According to the author, Israel is a zodiac. Governor, as we see up here, governor, who's the governor? The Rex. The sun rules the day. That's the governor, right?
Right.
And thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah. So let's go back and answer the question. And why should Christ be said to be born in Bethlehem of Judea and be called by the wise man these Greek words, the king, the rex, the governor or ruler in the days of JAO? Well, here's why: to fulfill Micah's prophecy, right? The Christ figure would come out of Bethlehem. The Christ figure would be a governor or a son. See it? And the son shall rule my people Israel. So the sun rules as it passes through each of the zodiacs. Clear?
Yeah.
Yes?
I'm with you. I'm with you. And looking at the chat, again, we still have no questions on this.
All right.
We do have a few people following along here.
Okay, so let's look up Jao. Let's see. What was the phrase that he used? Oh, days of Jao. Days of Jao. Y'all see my, Jimmy, do you see my screen?
Yes, I do. I do. You were looking up Jao. Days of Jao. Here we go. Days of Scams.
You know, let me put Bible verse.
Days of.
So can you all let us know in the chat if this is too difficult to follow, if it's confusing, or even if it's boring?
Especially this part of part 2.
Can you all put it in the chat? Let us know. The days of trouble, birth pains. All right. All right. So days of trouble.
Days of trouble.
All right.
Let me go reference to I think it was Matthew, where the JC character was talking and foretelling of the days to come.
No, it's talking about his birth. It has reference to the birth of the Christ would be days of trouble, right? Remember, Herod would kill all the children.
After all the children to kill, that's right.
Right. So that's what it's talking about. Days of Jow, days of trouble.
Okay.
I should have put New Testament. So yeah, that's the story. Remember, those were supposed to be troubling days, or right? Herod was going to kill all the children under 2, all the boys under 2. All right, so that's what that's telling us. Can someone put in the chat if this is too esoteric, or if it's boring, or if it's confusing?
We do have a comment from Teresa Gray indicating amazing, listening attentively.
Okay, excellent, thank you. Yeah, sometimes, can you tell me her name again, Jimmy, please?
It is Teresa Gray.
Teresa, sometimes I'm concerned that the topics might get boring or too complex, because this book was written in the 1800s, and the lessons were given in the early 1800s. And so, as everyone can see, it's like kind of difficult reading. It's a difficult read. And also the topic, we've been conditioned as a people to be afraid to ask questions, or even to go into this topic. So I really, really, really appreciate you answering our question, because it helps. It helps because as I teach and explain, I can spend less time on thinking and worrying about that, and more time on actually teaching the lesson. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. So if y'all let me know, I can actually do a better job when you guys give me your feedback, because I can make adjustments, right? I can allocate more brain power to teaching, instead of trying to figure out what I should do or say, or if you guys are understanding or getting bored. All right, so thank you.
We also have Silly 15 with us again tonight. Definitely welcome back. And Silly 15 says, not difficult or boring, not confusing.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Thank you so much, Silly 15. Appreciate it. That's so helpful. All right, let's continue now.
Briefly, Dr. Isapa, Teresa did respond again, and she said, many are called, but the chosen are few. So
yeah, right. That's true. That's true. Okay, so now, would any but a Christian idiot, and by the way, remember, scholars, this is the author. I guess in our day, this might seem condescending or disrespectful. I don't know about in his day, but let's don't be offended, okay? If you're a Christian, anyone, this is his point of view. Now, would any but a Christian idiot who had bid good night forever to all use of reason. So this Christian person just turned off their analytical mind, right? They just accept things. Or a Christian knave. Jimmy, do we need to go through this definition again, or?
The knave. If you would maybe briefly just say, because we do have a few new listeners, just briefly, just so they understand, get a good capture of what knave actually is.
All right. So we work with precise meanings. Did I put it in? Okay, so here we are. Tricky or deceitful fellow, knave, according to Merriam-Webster, is a tricky or deceitful fellow. Okay, so this is somebody who's intentionally trying to trick you, get over on you. Okay, or a Christian knave who would say anything, insult us by saying that there ever was a Bethlehem on earth that ever brought forth a governor or ruler upon earth, that ever governed or ruled in Israel upon earth. Now remember, Israel is English. Isis, Ra, and El, as opposed to Yasharallah. Okay, as opposed to Yasharallah. And remember, we're talking about the king of the Jews. So this has to do with Judaism, not with the bloodline people. This is Judaism. Okay. All right, let's see, where are we? Okay, and are we to endure the intolerable insult and ignominy? Let's look that one up.
Ignominy.
This word was made famous in the Batman movie back in, I think the one that Prince was in.
Prince wasn't in a Batman movie?
Yeah, you remember that? Yeah. Great personal dishonor.
Ignominy.
Ignominy.
Okay.
Great personal dishonor or humiliation.
So public shame or disgrace.
Yes. And are we to endure the intolerable insult and public shame and disgrace any longer? Right? That a set of sanctified idiots, let's look up idiot. Because we all, let's see what's the precise meaning of idiot? Let's see.
Well, what you got? I'm getting a stupid person.
Yeah. Let's see. It refers to a mentally deficient person. Let's see what else, if we can get it more
precise.
Yeah.
According to Google, it has idiots as a informal, a stupid person, a person of low intelligence.
Okay. Thank you, Jimmy. Here in the Free Dictionary, it also says an idiot is a person who is considered foolish, a person with profound intellectual disability. Okay. Having a mental age below 3 years. All right. Okay. That one I didn't know. Below 3 years. Okay. And solemn dunces, a proud and aristocratical priesthood. So here's the Black priesthood again, right? The dark or the Black priesthood. Okay. Okay. Too haughty as they are to be willing, and too ignorant as they are to be able to confront us. Who is this us? These are those of us who use our analytical minds and think critically, and we use linguistics and other sciences, right? Should be allowed to persuade the world that all these glorious prophecies of the quote unquote, the wonderful counselor, the mighty capital G-O-D. Now in the religion I was in, they would use lowercase G-O-D right here.
When referring, I guess, to the JC character, right?
Yeah, because they thought, according to their doctrine, the Father is a separate body, separate person from the Son. So it's, two separate bodies. Right? Okay. So the wonderful counselor, the mighty capital G-O-D, the everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace, of the increase of whose government and dominions there shall be no end, upon the throne of David his father. to order and to establish it with judgment and with justice forever. Okay. Had there verification in the pretended real history of such a king of the Jews, see Jews, Judea, right? Who, if his history were historical, presents us with nothing more than the history of a thief, born in a stable, living on the high road, and dying on the gallows. A king of the Jews that has never had his title recognized, but as in sarcasm, never triumphed, but on the cross, never reigned, but as if all our kings should be like to the reign in the same fashion, we should not long want radical reform. In other words, the kings would be powerless to do anything, right? So nobody would be upset. All right. So let's continue to the next paragraph. Jimmy, you want to take us through it, please?
All right. But turn we to the sacred text itself of the astronomical, Micah. It looks like Micah chapter 5, verse 2. Then, which nothing can be more astronomical. And thou, well, I'm at that period right there. Do we want to take a look at this on Micah chapter 5 too?
Yes, yes, indeed.
And Teresa said, I love that you are looking up all these words. Language is so important, no assumptions.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. That's how they've been ruling us too. Okay, Jimmy, go ahead, please.
All right, so we have Micah chapter 5, verse 2. But you, Bethlehem, Ephraim, thou you are small among the clans of Judah. Out of you will come from me one who will be ruler over Israel, whose origin are from of old, from ancient times.
Okay.
So it looks like that's the prophecy the prophet was referring to.
Yes. Okay, let's continue.
All right. Okay. And though the house of corn mention of the virgin, genius of increase and abundance, though thou be little among the thousands of Judah that make up the various signs of the Zodiac, out of thee shall he come to me, or shine forth, who is the governor of Israel, that is of the whole solar system, whose goings forth from the east have been from the days of eternity. That is the sun beyond all possibility of being anything else. The never created, eternally existing sun, whose goings forth from the east to pass through the 12 signs of the Zodiac, which literally and really have been from everlasting. And what means of the astrologue by those words, quote, and thou, Bethlehem, Ephratah, thou though be a little among the thousands of Judah, but the astronomical fact, which if you will but look upon the thousands of Judah, your own eyes will testify that the stars which make up the constellation of Bethlehem, Ephratah, which is the sign of the Virgin, or good woman of the Zodiac, are particularly small, those that should make up the head, especially being so minute minute, as hardly to be visible to the naked eye, which gave occasion, let's go ahead and bring it up.
All right.
Occasion. All right, which gave occasion to the allegorists for their joke, that if you want to find a good woman, you must look for the woman without a head. The pagan sculptors represented their Venus with a particularly small head, while the Christian painters represented their Venus, the Virgin Mary, whose house or domicile actually is in Bethlehem, Ephrata, as a maid with no head at all. The brightest stars, let's go ahead and get to the next page.
Oops. All right.
All right. In this constellation, being those which form the arms, or Venda matrix, and the elbow, thus actually supplying the poon that has never been too gross for the pity of our Catholic brethren, where in the office of the conception of the blessed Virgin, they call her Judith, invincible, woman of arms, fear, Abishag, virgin, that true David warms.
Then the asterisk reads, Jimmy, the asterisk, please.
It says Abishag, a Shunammite, according to First Book of King, chapter 1, verse 3.
Okay, so let's go back to our paragraph. All right, do you want to do any type of summation for this, or was it clear?
Most of it was actually clear on that part. It kind of lost me there on when we went up to that next page, the ending there. But for the most part, it was pretty clear what the author was talking about, comparing the Zodiac with the Virgin, as well as the prophecy of Micah.
Okay, all right, excellent. Okay, so now let's look up these words so we can get a good understanding. Bindi matrix or matrix. Oh, there we go. We'll start with that one. Oops. Any questions or comments, Jimmy, in the chat?
Yeah, as far as the chat goes, we do have Apostle Zakwan. What is the title and author of this book?
This is The Devil's Pulpit by Reverend Robert Taylor. Published in 1857. The lectures were given in the early 1800s before being compiled into this book. Okay. All right, so let's see. Vindi Matrix, the history of a star. All right, the history of stars. Vindi Matrix is a giant star. This is 9planets.org. It's a giant star with a yellow-hued glow of a G-type star and with the stellar classification of GA3. So let's see if we can get a different. Okay, so astrology. King. The sun joins the Vindi matrix star on October 2nd. Fixed star Vindi matrix. Let's see.
So we're saying it's a star by the name of Vindi matrix.
Yeah. Okay, Vindi matrix or Matrix refers to a star whose official name was approved on July 20th, 2016. Okay, that's odd, isn't it? Because this book was written in the 1800s.
Yeah.
So the meaning is not, let's see if we can find it in a different way.
If you want to look at Google afterwards, looks like give us a different perspective there.
Can you read it?
Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at it. It says, well, this is Wikipedia. It was the tradition name Vindi matrix. And no.
Oh, here it is, Jimmy. It's a star in the constellation of Virgo.
Virgo. Okay, now it makes sense.
So a star, yeah.
And we know when the author refers to the Virgin, he is talking about Virgo, the zodiac sign Virgo.
Yes.
Okay, so which then makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. Being who's, oops, let me go back. All right, so there it is. So it says here, right here.
Being.
Let me see. The brightest stars in this constellation being those which form the arms or Vindi matrix in the elbow. That's what it is.
Constellation of stars in the Virgo. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so forms an arm or Vindi matrix in the elbow. All right, so that's what we're talking about. Very good. Thus actually supplying the pun. I think everybody should know what a pun is, but let's look it up anyway.
In case somebody don't play chess, right?
One second. I really think this is information that all of our people should really know.
Well, it is.
At least so they can make an educated decision about this topic, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. What's that, Jimmy?
They can educatedly choose who they serve.
Yes. Okay, so pun. We'll look at Merriam-Webster's. Pun, the usually humorous use of a word in such a way as to suggest two or more of its meanings or the meaning of another word similar in sound. All right. Okay, thus actually, go ahead.
That's a great example, Dr. Isapa, of the way words change over time. Because when we looked at pun, I'm thinking of, a chessboard, a pun.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Completely different meaning. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Thus actually supplying the pun that has never been too gross for the piety of our Catholic brethren, where in the office of the conception of the Blessed Virgin, they call her Judith Invincible, woman of arms. Y'all see it?
Mm-hmm. Virgo.
Virgo, and the Vindi matrix is in the arms, right?
Mm-hmm. In the elbow.
Yes. Okay. Woman of arms, fair Abishag, virgin, that true David warms. All right. And there we see the asterisk, Abishag, a Shunammite, 1 Kings chapter 1, verse 3. All right. Then it continues, excuse me, eternal capital G-O-D, why hast thou given us reason to insult us with Christianity? All right. So let's continue. All right. I think it's my turn, right, Jimmy?
Yes. But briefly, just to sum it up, Dr. Isapa, First King, verse 1, chapter 1, verse 3. So they sought for a fair.
Wait a minute. Let me pull it up, Jimmy, so everybody can see it. Excuse me. First Kings 1, verse 3.
Verse 3.
All right.
Here we are. This is First King chapter 1, verse 3. Then they searched throughout Israel for a beautiful young woman and found Abishag, a Shamanite, and brought her to the king. So that it was just the reference to that, comparing the virgin Virgo to this young lady there.
Yeah, who kept David warm.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so let's continue. We are, yeah, that's where we are. But see, let me drink some water. I'm losing my voice. Give me 1 second, y'all.
But again, if you have not had the opportunity to go ahead and subscribe and share the video, please do so. And don't forget, you are invited for 2 free class in our class tomorrow morning, every Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern time. You are invited to join us for 2 free class. Please look down below in the chat. You will be able to see the link there where you will register. You have to go through the registration process, so you'll be able to get access to come to the class for the 2 free classes. And of course, the Hebrew 101 is just a must-have. At the beginning of the video, we spoke about it. It will lay down the foundation for you in the original language of our ancestors, the Ibaryath. That foundation is key to understand the base of everything that we look at. You notice that everything we try to look the precise meanings to get precise understanding, because science of this material is important. You know, religion trying to keep us away from science, but science is not the way it has been portrayed to you. The science of theology, or science of, our heritage, our documents, is important for us to be able to understand it, because that's the only way we can get back to the Most High. Now, if you have not had the opportunity to take a look at the previous 5 videos as we've been going through this particular document, please do so. There's a lot of I like to call gems throughout these videos that just come out that we didn't plan it that way as we go through this document, and this type of information actually come out. So again, we do appreciate you being with us as we continue through this document, and we will be coming on every night live until we get through with this document.
Okay, thanks, Jimmy. All right, so let's continue. B, but C, sirs, and you conviction, and your conviction shall shield the truth it sees. Let me repeat that. But C, sirs, and your conviction shall shield the truth it sees. How beautiful, how magic, how delightful in science. From the eternal and never failing regularity of the goings forth or progress of the sun from sign to sign through his annual course, the minds of men first receive the idea of truth, of punctuality, and of certainty. So he's saying that men got the idea of truth and being on time, and something being certain. In other words, is definitely going to happen, no question about it. All right, where did he get it? According to the author, from the sun, right? The sun travels through the sky. You can see what part of the sky it is in, and it's going to cause the seasons to change. So wherever you see the sign, or wherever you see the sun, you know what season it is and what season is coming next and when the season is going to end. But you also know what? When the sun comes up, you know what's going to happen through the course of the day, and eventually the sun is going to go down and it gets dark. These things are sure, reliable. So he's saying that's where the concept of truth came in, the concept of dependability and being on time. That's what he's saying here. Okay, so let's continue. And hence, among all nations and in all languages, we find them giving precisely the same name to whatever they hold to be true, which they had previously given to the sun, whose imaginary moral attributes were directly derived from his physical ones, and thus the faithful and true witness in heaven. The sun, that's the S-U-N, was looked up to or pointed to by every man addressing another man and saying and meaning to say that what he said was true. It is true as capital G-O-Ds in heaven. That is, it is true as accurate and as regular as are the goings forth of the sun, the S-U-N, sun, whose goings forths have been from of old, from everlasting. So the name of the sun, that's the S-U-N, in every country in which the sun, the S-U-N, hath shone, is universally found to be the same as that of their form of assent or agreement or pledge or promise. So the author is saying this is all over the world, according to the author. Everybody attaches the same meaning to the sun. Everybody, everywhere over the world. All right. So let's continue. And as the worship of the sun under the name of Jupiter, Ammon or Ammon, and as the worship of the sun, that's the S-U-N, under the name Jupiter, Ammon. So in other words, people were worshiping the sun, the S-U-N, and calling it Jupiter, Ammon, okay, was infinitely the most prevalent over all the world, above all other forms of worship. And so let's take a look at the note. Oh, that looks like Arab. That I can't read that language, so I'm gonna skip it. But y'all take a look at it. The ancient Phoenicians. Let me skip it.
Ancient Phoenicians.
Okay, so the ancient Phoenician word am, that's A-M. The ancient Phoenician word am, which is on or O-N. So the ancient Phoenician word am, spelled A-M, okay, which is on, spelled O-N, literally signifying the fire, the being, the name Ammon, A-M-M-O-N, pronounced in all manner of ways, through the nose, through the throat, but always with the eyes shut to relieve them from the dazzling of the sun's rays, as Amen, spelled A-M-E-N, all men, Amen, O men, has found its way, and to say, I'm sorry, let me repeat that, and to this day, retains its place at the end of every prayer ending through Jesus Christ, our L-O-R-D, Amen or Amun. That is, most literally, that Jesus Christ, our capital L-O-R-D, is Amun, A-M-M-O-N. And Jesus Christ and Jupiter, Amun, stand thus demonstrated to have been but one and the self same, prosopria. let me look that up. Okay, I don't know this word.
Yeah, not for
Give me
me.
1 second, y'all.
I've heard of that word again before.
Anything happening in the chat?
No, no, nothing.
What do y'all think about, scholars in the chat? What do you guys think about what we're reading right now? About Jesus Christ being Jupiter and Jupiter being a moon or a man.
Just kindly use. I did a study of that.
Huh?
I did a study about that whole a man that is being used, and it was a Egypt deity that was served called Ramon.
Amun Ra.
Amun Ra, yes, that they were serving. And so when you say amen after your prayer, that's what you were dealing with. Teresa said, is there one sun, and she spelled it with S-U-N, also one G-O-D in this text? Or is the author talking about this manifestation realm, our current existence?
The sun, S-U-N, he's referring to the sun in the sky that comes up every day, every morning, comes up and goes down at night, the S-U-N. In astrotheology, the Christ figure, the S-O-N, is the S-U-N, and the Christ figure never lived. Does that answer your question? Now, the Christ figure, the sun is also Jupiter Amun. The sun is also Herod. The sun is also Hercules. The what was it? The skin? I forgot. But the sun is also Hercules. Okay. Does that answer your question?
Teresa, please let us know in the chat if that answers your question, or if you want to clarify it. Mm-hmm. So how you pronounce that word there, Dr. Isapa?
I don't know. Let me click on. Let me find it. I have no idea. Let's see. Miriam. Yeah. Let's see. How is this pronounced?
Prosopopoeia.
Prosopopoeia.
Prosopopoeia. All right.
Prosopopoeia. A figure of speech in which an imaginary or absent person is represented as speaking or acting. Okay, a figure of speech in which an imaginary or absent person is represented as speaking or acting.
Teresa did put in the chat astrology, and then she have a check mark next to it.
Oh yeah, this is astrotheology. Yes, astrotheology. New Testament, let me be more specific. The Christ figure in the New Testament, the Gospels, right? And the rest of it is astrotheology. It's telling the story of astrology. So yes, you're correct. Okay, so let's go back to it. So Jesus Christ and Jupiter. So Jesus Christ is also the Greek god Jupiter, and Amun is the Egyptian deity, right? So the Greek and Egyptian deity, one and the same, right? Jupiter Amun. Okay, so let me pull the document back up. All right, so we're over here. I was talking about here. Here we are. Okay, so here we are, scholars here. All right, so this is where the cursor is, Jesus Christ and Jupiter Amun. So Jupiter is the Greek deity, Amun is the Egyptian deity. So Jupiter and Amun, according to this author, are the same deity. So Jesus Christ, Jupiter, and Amun are the same. All right. Okay, so let's continue with the reading. I gotta find my place now. Okay, and Jesus Christ and Jupiter Amun stand thus demonstrated to have been but one and the same and the self-same prosopopia, that is, the personified genius of the sun. So all of these deities are the sun, the S-U-N, as it travels into and out of each zodiac. There are 12 zodiac signs. As Jesus Christ is made to say of himself in that beautiful and scientific astronomical mythos called the Revelation of St. John, quote, I am the Amen, or the Amen, the faithful and true witness, end of quote. So the name Jesus, Y-E-S-U-S, or Jesus, J-E-S-U-S, so deceitfully sheltered from the discovery of its real meaning by the Latin termination US. Now, we discussed that in the last video, number 5. So please go back and watch that. You really should see that. Okay. By the Latin termination US, which is no part of it. In other words, it's JES. Okay. The US in JESUS is a Latin termination. So the Latin termination should not be there. It should just be JES. That'll make sense to you when you go back and read or watch the next video and read it and see it for yourself. All right, so let me find my place and continue. Okay, so deceitfully sheltered from the discovery of its real meaning by the Latin termination US. So they kept that Latin termination US, so you'd never discover that JES is the sun. That's what he's saying, right? In its disyllabic and earlier form, the YES, the yes, which has become our English form of assent or pledge of fidelity and truth. Okay, so when we say yes in English, this has to do with the sun. You see it come up every morning, right? You see it at its peak in the afternoon. You see it starting to go down at night, and then it gets dark. And then throughout the course of the year, you see the sun in different parts of the sky. The seasons change, the temperature changes, right? The number of hours of daylight changes. So all of these things in English, because of the sun, this is what the author is saying, where the yes comes from. Clear?
Clear.
It's clear? All right. So let's continue. All right. Okay, so I'm going to start with has become our English form of assent or pledge of fidelity and truth. So let's look up fidelity. Anything in the chat, Jimmy?
No, not yet. Fidelity.
Okay, you want to take us through it, Jimmy?
Fidelity. Right, meaning of fidelity is the quality or state of being faithful. How to, okay, yeah. So instead of being faithful.
Okay. So all of this concepts, according to the author, comes from the sun, right? Comes from us being familiar with the sun's activity. All right, I just got to find my place again.
Fidelity.
Okay, all right.
Fidelity.
Okay, so fidelity and truth, as we say, yes, with the same meaning as amen. That is, verily, it is so, or I consent, I will. That is, by capital G-O-D, I will. Very interestingly, I'm going to read that again. As we say yes, yes, as we say yes, with the same meaning as amen or amen, amen, that is verily, it is so, or I consent, I will, that is by capital G-O-D, I will. Okay, Hues, spelled H-U-E-S. Okay, so in English, that's yes, Y-E-S. And then it's in Greek, I can't read it, so we see the Greek word for that. And let's continue reading the sentence. Being the most ancient name of the God, Bacchus. So Hues is Bacchus. Everybody see that? Hues is the deity Bacchus. Yes, yes is Hues. Yes is also Bacchus. So Bacchus in English, the deity Bacchus in English is yes. Everybody see that?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody see it? All right.
I see it.
And let me repeat it. And absolutely retained to this day upon all our Christian altar pieces and pulpit cloths in those three mystical letters, these Greek letters. So let's see if we can find a pulpit cloth, an image of it, and see it, okay? Oops.
Yeah, I like to
hey,
see
what
it.
happened? Can y'all still see my document?
I can see the document right where we at, okay? Mm-hmm. You was going to look up a word here.
Okay, because I can't see it. Let me, hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute. So let me show y'all. So, all right, that's where we're at, okay? Take a look at the highlight, those Greek words. Scholars in the audience, take a look at that. Let me scroll this up. We're gonna see if we can find an image of this. All right, so here we are. Let's do it again. Hues, Hues. Okay, spell H-U-E-S. In English, it's yes. In Greek, it's whatever this Greek word is. Okay, being the most ancient name, so Hues is the most ancient name of the deity Bacchus. Yes is the English name of Bacchus. And absolutely retained, so Bacchus is absolutely retained to this day upon all our Christian altar pieces and pulpit cloths in these three mystical Greek letters. There we are. This is Bacchus, okay?
Okay.
This is what the author is telling us. So we're going to check, which are Greek letters absurdly read as Roman letters by our Romish monks, as if they were to stand for the words Jesus hominum salvator, Jesus the savior of men, whereas they really are the name at full length of the pagan deity Bacchus, the deity of wine, in whose honor at those altars our Christian Bacchanals, not knowing what they do, continue to this day to drink the sacramental wine, which is the blood of the grape, that is by metone, let me repeat that, metonymy. I'm going to look that up to see how to pronounce it. Upon metonymy, the blood of Bacchus. Okay. Very interesting, right?
The blood of Bacchus.
Yeah. So that is to say, by metonymmy. Wait a minute, I lost my place. Okay, here we are. All right. That is of Jes, or yes, spelled Y-E-S, the personified genius of the sun, whose name is written in the letters I-H-S and surrounded with that circle of golden sun rays, than which our ingenuity could not write the word sun, S-U-N, nor depict it in a hieroglyphical representation, lest to be mistaken, even if you were the most ingenious man alive. And this same IES is, let's see, IES. The same IES is composed of the Armenian radicals I, the one, and ES, the fire, i.e. the one great fire, i.e. the sun, the S-U-N, under which identical name he was the supreme deity of the ancient fire worshippers of Persia, from whom his rites were adopted by those who are absurdly called primitive Christians. So the Persians were actually primitive Christians. Did y'all see that? These fire worship Persians were primitive Christians. Anything in the chat, Jimmy?
No. Must be interesting. Just following along.
Okay, so let's look up my tone. What was that? Was it me tone? Was it me? Me tone 9.
Oh yeah, me too. METONYMY.
Is that what it was?
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Okay.
No.
Metonymy.
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 All right, metonymy. A figure of speech in which one word or phrase is substituted for another with which it is closely associated, as in the use of Washington for the United States government, or of the sword for military power. Okay, I got that. I got it. All right. So let's go back. Was this clear, Jimmy, or does it need explanation?
Give it a little explanation. Give it a little explanation.
Oh, okay. Oh, before we do that, let's take a look at these altar pieces.
Yes, just go show us, see if we can find a picture of that.
What did it was an altar piece, and what else did he say?
Altar pieces, and then you had the letters. Okay. Images. Okay.
I don't have a clue what an altar piece is, to be honest with you. Oh, I know what to do. I have to type the English in. Let me type the English in and see if we get it that way. IES, let's see. IES, altar piece. All right.
Oh, look at that first picture.
Oh, this one?
That's the Zodiac, isn't it? See. Oh.
Yeah, it is a Zodiac. Okay, hold on. Let me see, what was the other word? Let's try pulpit cloth. That might be easier to find it. Pulpit cloth. I don't remember seeing these when in the Baptist church.
I think those are more in the Catholic or Methodist, and this is like Catholic line.
Let me look up Baptist pulpit cloth. I've seen these letters on them before.
I have. I'm just trying to recall where I've seen it, but I have. I've seen these letters on something.
I don't see anything. Oh, I should have typed in writing on pulpit cloth. Or words on pulpit cloth. Oh, here it is.
Here it is, IHS.
That's the English version. Everybody see it in the audience, scholars? You guys see it in the audience? That look, okay. Oh, this is the sun rays going outward. Wow. Y'all see that? That's just, it looked like sperm, actually. Don't it?
Yes, it does.
But it's actually the sun, this circle. Wow. Oops, let me go back.
Interesting.
Yeah. So let's see. I had to type in writing, pulpit cloth writing. Okay, so that looks like somebody's initials. So let's see. Well, I guess that's enough, right?
We wanted to see it. We actually saw it.
Okay, so now where were we? Okay, so let's go back to that, because that reference is let me try some. That reference has to do with Bacchus. And Bacchus is the deity of the wine deity. Give me 1 second. I'm just curious. Still no comments or questions?
No, just we have, it looks like Lake Zaya Bay just told us peace and LOL.
Islam more. Welcome. Okay, so yeah, I don't see. So let's go back. That's completely off topic. All right. So here we are. Let me take it back to the top. Okay, so let's go through it again. 1 second. We started this conversation off with Jupiter Amun. Was it Jupiter Amun?
Yes, it was Jupiter Amun.
1 second, let me cue it up. All right, so we were here. So I'll begin here where the cursor is at the bottom. And as the worship of the sun, S-U-N, under the name of Jupiter Amun. So we're talking about the worship of the sun and how it developed or changed over time, right? And the worship of the sun, S-U-N, under the name Jupiter, this is the Greek deity Jupiter, this is the Egyptian deity Amun, okay, was infinitely the most prevalent over all the world. So worshiping Jupiter Amun was the most common form of sun worship all over the world. That's what it's saying, okay? Above all other forms of worship. So there were other forms of worship, okay? And we went through the footnotes. Okay, the ancient Phoenician word am, spelled A-M or capital A-M, also on, capital O-N, literally signifying fire. The being, the name Amun, spelled A-M-M-O-N, pronounced in all manner of ways through the nose, through the throat, but always with the eyes shut to relieve them from the dazzling of the sun's rays. As amen, spelled A-M-E-N, amen, spelled A-U-M-E-N, amen, spelled A-H-M-E-N, omen, spelled O-M-E-N, has found its way. All right. So in other words, the sun's so bright you really shouldn't look at it, according to this author. So you should close your eyes, right? Right. All right. So you can pronounce it any way, but in all the ways that you pronounce it, you're going to close your eyes instead of look at it, right?
That's right.
Okay. So let's continue. All right. So the sun's rays as amen. So these are different forms, right? Different spellings. Okay. What's different? The vowel. Everybody notice that? The vowels are different. A, A-U, A-H, and then O. All right. Okay. So it found its way where? And to this day retains its place at the end of every prayer, ending through Jesus Christ, our Lord, Amun. So in other words, it found its way into Christian prayer. Till this day, people still close their prayer with Amun, A-M-M-O-N, or the other form is Amen, right? That is, most literally, Jesus Christ, oops, let me repeat that. And Jesus Christ and Jupiter, Amun, stand thus demonstrated to have been but one and the self-same prosopopia, that is, the personified genus of the sun. So we went through this in the other videos about the Christ figure being the sun and also Jupiter. Okay, so now let's continue. As Jesus Christ is made to say of himself in that beautiful and scientific astronomical mythos called the Revelation of St. John, I am the Amen. He's saying that I am the Son, the faithful and true witness. Remember, we looked up the word faithful. We looked up true. All of these adjectives come from the Son, right? That's how they made their way into the English language. Faithful and true. Okay. Amen is the Son. Clear, Jimmy?
Clear.
All right. So the name Yesus, spelled Y-E-S-U-S, and here we see the what? We see the Latin terminal, don't we? Right?
Right. Here it is.
See the Latin terminal. So J is not an ancient letter, right?
It is not. It's probably 500 years old at best.
Right. And so here again, we see the Latin terminal. Okay. So we remove this Latin terminal, we have yes, right?
That's right.
All right. Okay. So now let's continue. So the name Yesus or Jesus, so deceitfully sheltered from discovery of its real meaning. How did they shelter it? They left on this Latin terminal. Remember? US, they left that Latin terminal on there. Okay, which is what exposed it to have been written in Latin before it was written in Greek. Everybody remember that from yesterday's video. Okay, so the name Jesus, so deceitfully sheltered from the discovery of its real meaning. What was its real meaning? The Son. By the Latin termination US, which is no part of it. In its disyllabic and earlier form, it is yes, which has become our English form of assent or pledge of fidelity, faithfulness, and truth. As we say yes with the same meaning, amen, or amen. That is, verily it is so, or I consent, I will. That is, by capital G-O-D, I will. Okay, so here the author is establishing that sun worship never left. It's still with us today in Christianity. Every time the Christian or Hebrew Israelite who calls on this deity, Yeshua or Yahweh, whatever they're saying, if they're closing their prayer with amen, okay, so they're still, the sun worship is still being done whether they know it or not. Okay, so hues, spelled H-U-E-S. Hues means yes in English, and this is what yes or hues is in Greek. Being the most ancient name of the deity Bacchus. So hues is Bacchus. Yes is Bacchus, the deity Bacchus. And absolutely retained to this day upon all our Christian altarpieces and pulpit cloths. Okay, so Bacchus is the sun deity. Let me repeat that. I didn't say that right. Hues, let me slow down. Hues, Bacchus, you'll see Bacchus on, this is in the 1800s, y'all, when this was done, on pulpit cloths that we looked at and on altar pieces, okay? And in the Greek, this is what you'll see. These letters, these Greek letters, okay? So let me continue reading. Christian altarpieces and pulpit cloths, and those three mystical letters, whatever these are, I don't know the Greek, which are Greek letters absurdly read as Roman letters by our Romish monks, as if they were to stand for the words Jesus, hominum, salvator, in English, Jesus, the savior of men. So they're trick people, right? They trick people into thinking that these words, which actually mean the deity Bacchus, they trick them into thinking that this means Jesus, homina salvator, Jesus, the savior of men. Clear?
Clear. Wow. Wow. So that right there within itself. Wow. So they have us thinking it's saying Jesus, the savior of men.
Yeah, that's why they're calling these priests knaves.
Oh.
Tricky people, right? Deceitful people.
Deceitful people.
Yeah, right in your face. Okay. Whereas they really are the name at full length of the pagan deity Bacchus. See, they trick the people. Okay. The deity of wine. So Bacchus is the deity of wine, in whose honor at those altars or Christian bacchanals, not knowing what they do, continue to this day to drink the sacramental wine, which is the blood of the grape. That is the mytonemy upon mytonemy, the blood of Bacchus. That is of Jes, spelled J-E-S, or yes, spelled Y-E-S. Okay. Now let's continue. The personified genius of the sun. So Bacchus is the deity of wine and the sun, okay? Whose name is written in those letters I-H-S and surrounded with the circle of the golden rays. We saw that, right?
We saw that earlier.
Let's go back and look at it. Scholars, y'all remember we saw that. That's the one I said looked like sperm.
I think you saw it under writing in the cloth.
I was writing on, okay, let's see if I can get it this way first. Yeah. Was this was the screen? No, maybe I'll try one more and then I'll type it in. Okay, I'll type it in. There it is.
There we go.
Everybody see that?
Mm-hmm.
IHS, the rays of the sun. Okay. IHS. All right. The personified justice. What's that, Jimmy?
I'm listening.
Okay. So let's continue. Whose name is written in those letters IHS and surrounded with the circle of golden rays, which we just saw, than which our ingenuity could not write the word sun. Okay, right. They didn't want to write or just put a sun. I think that's what he's saying, right? Nor depict it in a hieroglyphical representation, lest to be mistaken, even if you were the most ingenious man alive. And the same IES, so I think these are the same, right?
Right. Because
so the H is being replaced with the, in other words, the H and the E can be interchangeable. Go ahead, Jimmy.
Yeah, no, that's what actually I was getting at. It looks like you can actually change the two of them.
Yeah, because it's the E, the H is what? Go to the 101 Ancient Ibaryath course and you'll understand that. Subscribe to it. Okay, composed. So the, let me go back down. All right, so I'll begin reading here. And this same IES is, the same IES is composed of the aminium radicals I, which means the one, and ES, which means the fire, which means the one great fire. Okay, the sun, under which identical name he was the supreme deity of the ancient fire worshippers of Persia, from whom his rites were adopted by those who are absurdly called the primitive Christians. So these Persian sun worshippers were called primitive Christians, okay? So Bacchus is also the sun deity, okay? Fire worshippers in Persia were worshiping the sun. They were sun worshippers. How are we looking for time, Jimmy?
It's approximately about 10:30. I don't know if we want to probably take questions and summarize it. As you know, we do have our session tomorrow morning.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Let me take a look at where we're at with the. So scholars in the audience, do you have questions or comments? So we'll get past this part. This part actually it's getting good actually on the next page.
Do you wanna wrap this page up then?
Let me look through it first.
Okay.
Yeah, this paragraph is easy. Yeah, Jimmy, let's read this paragraph. This is a pretty easy paragraph.
Okay, let's do it.
But it on the the next paragraph, it's a long paragraph on this page. Well, you can read this one on this page, and then I'll read it from the next page. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Here we are. Yeah. The extent of Christian stupidity and of Christian ignorance would have been the most unaccountable of all the phenomena of the universe, if its own history had not supplied the account. Men have been trained to perform ignorance to learning, and have chosen to be driven mad and wild by faith, rather than to be instructed, enlightened, and improved by reason and philosophy. But as the intolerance of the religious feeling alike in all religions was ever more opposed to improvement than any other, we reap a contingent advantage from the consecration of ignorance. The long continuance of the nomenclature and technicalities of theology and their adoption from one country to another, where everything might be allowed to be to change and to improve, but religion enables us the more easily to work through the difficulties of the problem and to demonstrate the fallacy that runs through all religions. Thus, there is a long list of words which our Christian parents partell forth, of which they have never dreamed or thought more of the meaning and significance than a parrot, in which have been adopted and naturalized without ever being translated. Again, this is what we were talking about, Dr. Isapa, not understanding the science, not accepting the science and being learned into the language, and rather just accepting through faith.
Right, and you're citing what verse?
By accepting through faith, it's literally citing Jeremiah.
Not knowing the language.
Jeremiah 8:8, not being
right,
learned.
That's what he's talking about.
Not being learned in the language. So therefore, that's how they got us. We are being lied to through the lying pens of the scribes.
Yes. How can you say we are wise? This is Jeremiah chapter 8, verse 8, Amplified Bible Version. How can you say we are wise and the law of the Most High is with us, and we are learned, in its language and teaching? Y'all see how important this is, scholars? Okay, be sure you subscribe so you can start learning this, okay? Don't choose to be willfully ignorant, okay? All right, Jimmy, let's continue.
And let's go ahead. Okay, go ahead and take it right here.
We're here, or
that's fine. We'll take it from there. The long continuance of the nomenclature.
Nomenclature. That's a naming system.
That's a what system?
Naming system. Well, let's look it up. Hold on.
Not familiar with that.
All right. It's a scientific term. One second. Oh, how did that happen?
It must have hit something. All right.
Nomenclature. Nomenclature.
Is that you, Jimmy?
Nomenclature. The pronunciation of that word.
Wait. Let me do it so everybody else can see it.
Yeah, okay. Absolutely.
All right, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can. Here we are.
All right. Okay.
And nomenclature looks like, okay, a system of terms used in a particular science, especially. System of terms.
Okay, so let's look at it over here.
Nomenclature is a system of names or terms, or the rules for forming these terms in a particular field of art or science.
Okay, so, all right, let's go back to the document. Okay, so let's continue.
All right, so of the nomenclature and the technicalities of theology and their theology, and their adoption from one country to another, where everything might be allowed to change and to improve, but religion enables us the more easily to work through the difficulties of the problem and to demonstrate the fallacy. We looked up that word too, fallacy. Can we take a look at it again briefly? The fallacy.
All right. Fallacy. Hey, what's going on? Hold on, Jimmy. What happened to my pointer? Oh, here we are. Fallacy.
As you look that up, Dr. Christopher, give me 1 quick minute, brother.
All right. Okay, fallacy. This is Merriam-Webster's definition of fallacy. False or mistaken idea, popular fallacies prone to perpetuate the fallacy of equating threat with capability. So fallacy. A fallacy is the use of invalid or otherwise faulty reasoning or wrong moves in the construction of an argument, which may appear stronger than it really is if the fallacy is not spotted, right? Okay, so that should be pretty clear. So let's go to the document. Are you back, Jimmy? All right. So the long continuance of the nomenclature and technicalities of theology and their adoption from one country to another, where everything might be allowed to change and improve. Okay, so things can improve, right? You can improve them. But religion enables us the more easily to work through the difficulties of the problems and to demonstrate the fallacy that runs through all religions. Thus, are you back, Jimmy?
I am back. So we know that fallacy is basically a mistaken belief, right?
That's just faulty reasoning.
Faulty reasoning, okay.
They're reaching conclusions based upon some fault in the reasoning.
Okay.
But let's go back to it so you can see it. You want to read it here?
Here we are. Fallacy, a false or mistaken idea, popular falsies prone to perpetrate the fallacy of equating threat with
no, over here, Jimmy, over here.
Okay. A fallacy is the use of invalid or otherwise faulty reasoning or wrong moves in the construction of an argument, which may appear stronger than it really is if the fallacy is not spotted. Some fallacies are committed intentionally to manipulate or to persuade by deception, while others are committed unintentionally due to carelessness.
Okay, so
or ignorance. Wow, very interesting, huh?
Yeah. All right, so let's continue. You were here.
All right. Fallacy, okay. And to demonstrate the fallacy that runs through all religions. Thus, there is a long list of words which our Christian parents prattle forth, of which they have never dreamed or thought more of the meaning and significance than a parrot, and which have been adapted and naturalized without ever being translated.
In other words, they're using words they don't know what they mean. In other words, connotative linguistics.
Connotative linguistics, yes.
Okay, so let's continue.
Translated. I need not mention the amen and hallelujah and Hosanna and glory and bring it down. Sanctification. Yeah, bring it down for me.
Oh, all right. Oops. All right.
All right, sanctification and holiness of the derivative meaning of which a horse is not more intelligent than a Christian, but more ignorant. I'm sorry, more ignorant than a Christian. A horse is not more ignorant than a Christian, but our words, capital God, and the Son, S-U-N, are really the one, a Hebrew, the other, an old Coptic word, both signifying the same thing, but both alike adopted without being inquired into. The naturalized and naturalized without being understood, capital G-O-D or capital G-A-D, being the never translated name in the ancient Sabiism, or star worship of the constellation of the ram or lamb of the capital G-O-D. As I have explained to you, the Rama, the great, the elevated, that is the first of the signs of the Zodiac, that is by metonymai of the,
it's on the next page. Sorry about that. So for the Moor, there's a Moor who was here earlier. Sabaism. This has reference to the Sabian Moors. Saba. Sabbath. Sabbath, star worship. All right, not the Sabbath that the Hebrew Israelites are doing. So that's the Sabian Moors, which is hidden. The Sabian Moors are hidden, okay, by the priesthood. Okay, so let's continue.
All right, where are we here?
By my Tony my of the sun.
And that sign, Arius, the ram or lamb of the capital God.
So let me read the asterisk, Jimmy. Well, no, you can. I'll show it. So I almost forgot that we were doing a video. So you want to read the asterisk, please?
All right. It says the Latin word Arius, the ram, was derived from the Egyptian word Araz, the sun, as that word is found compound with Deus, which is the same as Dios, capital G-O-D. The whole word, that's a word there, sanctifying, capital G-O-D, the sun, the same mentioned by, looks like Tertullian, as Diceres, the capital G-O-D of all the Arabian nations.
All right. Okay. So let's go back. Okay.
All right. So whose astronomical name, yes, is the root of our Jesus, the Lamb of capital G-O-D, as our English words sun and day are found.
So that's sun, S-U-N, sun, S-U-N, and day, D-A-Y. Okay, Jimmy.
Are found in the first primitives, not of a particular language, but of the most ancient and universal ever uttered by men. Sen, pronounced Zen, Zan, Sun, and Zun, that is, with every vowel and every mode of altering the initial, that
Of uttering, not altering, uttering the initial.
uttering the initial.
That means speaking the initial.
Mhm,
Okay.
mhm, the initial. That the tongue could compass, like Gad, Gid, Gad, capital G-O-D, G-U-D, was like that word, the common Ammonian name for the sun and Jupiter, as is witnessed by that old inscription quoted by Brent on the tomb of Jupiter, who, like Herod, Hercules, Bacchus, Mithra, Apollo, Christina, Vicenu, and all the other allegorized type of the sun, was conceived by the Holy Ghost, born of the Virgin Mary, suffered under Pontius Pilate, was crucified, dead, and buried. And here's a Greek word.
The Greek text reads in English here was.
Say that again.
The Greek text reads in English here was. Continue, please.
He was born,
Very.
the great, it looks like Zev, whom they call, Greek word, that is the great son, whom they call capital G-O-D. When the first attempt was made to represent the sun and pictorial hieroglyphics.
Hieroglyphics, that's like the Greek writing system, you know, that you see on the pyramid walls.
Okay. Okay. Hieroglyphics. Okay. I think you gotta bring it up for me. Hieroglyphics, a mere straight stroke as a picture of the finger of the priest pointing to the, you gotta bring it up for me.
All right, can you start the sentence over again, please?
Let's see here. When the first attempt was made to represent the sun in the pictorial hieroglyphic, go ahead, Dr. Isava.
Hieroglyphics.
Hieroglyphics. A mere straight stroke as a picture of the finger of the priest pointing to the sun gave the letter I or J, if part of the hand be seen with it, while the circle of the sun's disk formed the O, and thus the radical of all languages, I-O, running through the theology of all nations and of all ages, harder or softer, and the Io or Gio, Zaro, so on and so on, Javi, and
Wait, Jimmy, just say tetragrammaton.
Tetragrammaton, here we go.
Right?
Tetragrammaton, okay. Yep. All betray that the sun and the sun alone was the primordial signification of the arms for capital G-O-D and Jesus, and bring us to an absolute demonstration of the truth betrayed to us by the unguarded father Tertullian, that many think that the sun, capital S-U-N, is our capital G-O-N, and refer us to the religion of the Persians. It gives a reference here, apologet, C.16. and still more explicitly acknowledging, and it looks like Hebrew 12.
Hebrews 12, verse 29.
Our capital God is a coming fire, a consuming fire.
All right. So do you want to give a summary of that?
That's quite a long that's quite a long chapter, but I like the way it actually tied in that tetragrammaton with those letters. It's pretty similar to one of the lessons we've actually went through, looking at the actual tetragrammaton, where all these names actually come from, and people are still calling on false deities and thinking they are calling on the Most High. So it gives me that same feel of that confusion that was handed down to us.
Okay. All right. So the main point of this paragraph is that all of these deities are the sun. They are all the sun. Okay. And the most ancient, or the first attempts, according to this author, to write the sun was done hieroglyphically. So that would take us to the ancient Egyptians, right? They wrote it as a straight line, as though it was a finger. Okay, so if you can imagine a finger pointing at the sun, and you would see a halo or circle around the sun, around your finger, right? So the halo that you see around these, well, let's show it. That's the circle that he's talking about.
Okay, we do have, looks like Yashay did come, and he said, sounds very Masonic.
Could be. Oh yes, definitely it is. Definitely this is. Definitely, they put this guy in jail, and they started calling him a devil because he started to tell these secrets. Okay, that's where the term, the title of the book, The Devil's Pulpit, they called him a devil to vilify him and make the people hate him because he was telling the secrets, the Masonic secrets about Christianity.
Wow.
So just like the black people, they use nigga, they call each other nigga, right? To take the pain out of it, to embrace the term. He decided to title the book The Devil's Pulpit because the priestly class called him a devil to try to make the people hate him. So that's where the term devil, or the title of the book, comes from, The Devil's Pulpit. All right. Just like black people call themselves nigga. So y'all see this halo? That's the circle. The letter O that we saw in the book. Let me go back to it. So that's this, right? Okay. So when the first attempt was made to represent the sun in pictorial hieroglyphics, a mere straight stroke as a picture of a finger of the priest pointing to the sun gave the letter I, right? Excuse me, the letter I, or J. Well, we know it's not a J because that wasn't around then, right?
Did not exist.
But it's very strange that he put it there because he should have known that. Right?
Right.
He should have known. Unless he's just interchanging. I don't know. But in the context, it seems like this J should not be here. Okay. Unless, of course, like we discussed yesterday on the video, the amount of time between the Old Testament and the New Testament, that 2000, however many years it was, right? So maybe this was closer. I don't know. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yep, I'm with you. That's why they probably use that because the time. Okay, it looks like
It was closer.
No wonder. Teresa says, no wonder the sun is getting stronger. UV rays very high. Talk of the return of JES. I've been seeing halos around the sun. Interesting.
Okay. All right. Thanks for that comment. Okay, so the letter I or J represents the priest pointing to the sun. Okay, if part of the hand to be seen. Oh, so this curve, the curve part here, this the half circle, that's supposed to be the hand, y'all. Right, and then this top part is supposed to be his finger. Okay. All right, so now let's continue. While the circle of the sun's disk formed the O, and that's what we just looked at the Christ figure. The O is the halo. Everybody saw that, okay? And thus the radical. So remember, radical are roots, right? The basic form of a word that other words are built off of. And thus the radical of all languages, I and O, running through the theology of all nations. Okay, so all nations use these, the I and the O in their word for the deity, right? And so here we see IAO, JAO, ZAO, as in Zaro rooster. I think that's what this is referencing to. This is the tetragrammaton. This is the tetragrammaton. This is also a contracted form of the tetragrammaton, so on, right? All betray that the sun and the sun alone was the primordial signification of the erms for God and Jesus. Okay, and bring us to the absolute demonstration of the truth betrayed to us by the unguarded Father Tertullian, that many think that the sun is our capital God and refer us to the religion of the Persians. Okay, so the Persians were fire worshippers, right? They were fire worshippers. So what was the fire? The fire was the sun. They were sun worshippers. Okay.
Also referred to as early Christians.
Right. Yes. And when we look at Hebrews 12:29, it reads, and our God is a consuming fire. Right?
Oh, well,
so
yeah.
The sun is a consuming fire. Huh?
Well, I'm saying interesting. That's a very interesting. I never made that one out there.
What, Jim? I didn't get it.
No, that Hebrew 12, our capital God is a consuming fire.
Oh, yeah. Is this Hebrews 12:3? We're in the right place.
Yeah, Hebrews chapter 12, verse 3. Was it verse 3?
Let me see. Let's go back to it. Oh, 29, Hebrews 12:29.
Okay.
Hebrews 12:29. Okay, Jimmy.
It says, for our capital God is a consuming fire.
All right. So, let me see.
Wow.
Let's go back. So again, these deities are all referencing sun worshiper, the sun. Okay, the sun and sun worship. So that's why they're calling it astrotheology. Christianity, according to the author here, is astrotheology or astronomy. It's astronomy. Okay. So Jimmy, let's stop now.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, we've been going at it for a while.
All right. So thanks everyone for joining us. Let me go back to the 101 Ancient Ibaryath course. So make sure you subscribe to this now. Send the link also for the 101 Ancient Ibaryath course to your friends and family, everybody you know, and tell them they should subscribe, okay? There's no doctrine in here. There's no doctrine, no theology, no dogma, nothing like that. It's linguistics. And you'll be able to do what we're doing once you learn these concepts. And this is yours. So return to the Most High. Ibaryath is part of your heritage. It's part of your heritage, okay? It's almost free. $1 for 1 day trial, $10 to subscribe. I mean, you cannot beat this. If you were to go to a Hebrew school or a synagogue, you're gonna be out of thousands and thousands of dollars, 10, 15,000. All right, easy. Easy, and you're not learning your stuff, you'd be learning biblical or modern Hebrew, okay? All right, don't believe me, just go and try it, right? Just go.
Yeah, great foundation, and we'll invite you again to class tomorrow. Teresa says gratitude, and looks like Michelle asked for the link. It is in the description. The link is in the description. This is for both the Hebrew Ibaryath 101 as well as the curses class
Well,
for tomorrow morning.
Jimmy, hold on, because let me say something, because we had a problem with the live stream, so I don't know what's in the description.
I'm actually looking at it right now.
Is it there?
No, we have the 101. Well, yes, yeah. Well, yeah, we have the 101 in the link, but I don't see the curses class in the link here.
Okay, so Michelle, for this course, the 101, go to zionlawschool.org. You can see it up here where the highlight is in the address bar. Zionlawschool.org. Zionlawschool.org, and then click here on course offerings. So click on course offerings. Okay. Let's let it load up. So click on course offerings, and then you'll see it, Hebrew self-study course. So click on that one. Okay. And here it is. And then scroll down, make sure you read all of that, scroll down, and then you'll see the subscribe, okay? And then click on subscribe. All right. Okay, so you're gonna love it, you're gonna learn a lot. Everyone remember, when you learn a language takes effort and consistency. Okay, but stick with it. Come to our Saturday class, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you'll actually put in practice what you're learning here. Okay.
Looks like Yasha said, I never in my life accepted white Jesus and left that family religion ASAP after high school.
That's good. I wish I could do the same. I mean, I wish I could say the same. It took me decades.
Decades, yeah. I've actually just recently coming out of it, you know, and it's quite a journey. It is quite a journey. And yesterday's video, the number 5, we talk about cognitive dissonance. That's actually we went kind of deep into that, the different phases that we go through coming into the truth, or realizing you've been lied to.
Yeah. So, okay, so let's end it out. Jimmy, do you want to just give a brief review of Jeremiah 8:8?
Absolutely. You know, it all comes down to this. Jeremiah chapter 8, verse 8, and in the Amplified Version Bible, how can you say we are wise? And the law of the Most High is with us, and we are learned in its language and teaching. Behold, the truth is, the lying pen of the scribes has made the law into a lie, a mere code of ceremonial observance. There it is. There it is. It's significant. We have to be learned in the teaching. This is what this is about. This is what you are being offered here at Zion Law School, to be learned. We're not looking to zombify you. We're not looking for followers, but rather co-scholars that can be learned, so we can indeed be able to return back to the covenant, return back to obedience, return back to the Most High. Dr. Isapa.
Okay, thanks. And the way to do that is through learning the language, learning linguistics, and the other topics that we discussed in yesterday's video. So thanks everyone for showing. So we're going to complete this chapter. Let me show you. Let me go back to the document. There's only 2 paragraphs left in this chapter. Okay, so we'll complete this tomorrow and get on to more exciting stuff. Okay, but this is really important to know what we just went through. You know, it took some time to go through it, but to see this information about the sun and all of these deities, including the Tetragrammaton and the Christ figure, to see that they are the sun and Bacchus and all of this stuff, even though it was kind of, maybe some people might see it, you know, maybe this was difficult for some, but we really needed to go through it. You know, in academics, you have to go through some things, okay? You have to push through it. And I think we did a good job of that. So we only have, see, this page right here, this little bit, and let me go back up. And one paragraph, so 2 paragraphs to go, 1 long paragraph, and then after that, just a short paragraph, okay? And then we'll be finished with that, and then we'll move on to our next topic, which is going to be much more interesting. Okay? So, yeah, so we stopped here. So we'll begin tomorrow here where the cursor is. So just this page. All right, just that 1 page. And then we have this page, and then we move to the next topic. All right, or the next chapter, part 3 of the Star of Bethlehem. All right. And it gets much more fun, more explosive. Okay. So I guess with that, I'm going to say Shalom. Any questions or comments before we go?
Looks like we have Teresa said, I learned that truth and faithful is a constant, unchanging, the sun. Thank you. Let me read that again here. I learned that truth and faithful is constant, unchanging, the sun. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Those concepts, according to the author, came into the English language by watching the sun. It's constant. You can always trust that it's going to rise, it's going to come up, and it's going to go down. You always know the seasons by where it's at in the sky, right? So trust and faithfulness. Just as sure as you know the sun is going to come up in the morning, that means you have faith, right? It happens every day, right? You trust, it's reliable. Yeah, excellent point. Excellent point. Okay, so I think that's it. Anything else in the chat, Jimmy, or is that?
That is it. That is it. Teresa, give us a check and Purple Heart. We definitely appreciate your participation. Everyone that participated. And again, do not forget to go ahead, share the link. We will be back as we continue going through this document.
And invite other people, y'all, tomorrow. let's have a lot of people. The more people we can introduce this information to, the better off we're going to be, because we have to return to the Most High, not only as individuals, but as a nation, right? But as a nation. So let's do that. All right, so Shalom, we'll see everybody tomorrow, same time, 9 a.m. No,
Tomorrow
9
morning,
p.m.
but 9 p.m. for the session.
Yeah, 9 p.m. for this session, but if y'all want to come to class tomorrow, it's 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, you can come in for free. It's not going to cost you anything. Okay. All right, so